Welcome back to the Next Mission podcast. I'm your host, Alex Leonovich. Over the past 4 episodes, we've been helping you buy a home with confidence. We've talked about financing, underwriting, writing competitive offers, and understanding the VA home loan. And those conversations all had one goal: to get you to the closing table prepared. But today, we're going to begin a new mission. Because getting the keys to your new house isn't the end of the journey. It's the beginning of home ownership. And with home ownership comes responsibilities. And for most families, a home isn't just where you live. It's where you celebrate birthdays. It's where you start family traditions. It's where your kids grow up. It's where your grandkids are going to visit, hopefully. And it's where life happens. Maybe we don't think about it that way, but it's important. And it really is where we spend a lot of time and we make a lot of memories. And it's also one of the largest investments most of us are ever going to make. And protecting that investment starts with really understanding homeowners insurance. Now, I'll admit, it's not sexy. It's not dinner conversation, but most people don't think about it until they're required to buy a policy or, God forbid, until they need to file a claim. But by then, may discover they didn't understand what their policy really covered. So my goal today is simple. I want to help you understand just enough about homeowners insurance that you can ask the right questions, avoid some of the common mistakes, and make informed decisions before you ever need to use that policy. Because that's what this podcast is really all about. Preparation creates confidence. So let's begin with a simple question. Why do we even need homeowners insurance in the first place? Before we talk about deductibles and premiums and policies, we really need to start with the bigger picture. Most people assume homeowners insurance exists because the bank requires it. And if we're being honest, sure, that's true. But that's only part of the story. Your lender wants to protect the property that they're financing. Okay. But more importantly, insurance protects you. You're the one paying for that policy, right? They want you to be protected. That's really the bottom line. So imagine with me for a second, and we won't spend a lot of time on this, but you've purchased that home, you've been in it for 6 months, you live here in Tampa, it's the summertime, we get a lot of rain, we get a lot of big thunderstorms, and one of those big thunderstorms rolls through and knocks that big, beautiful oak tree over on your house, and it comes through the roof. Or maybe you're managing and multitasking a bunch of things like my wife does when she's making dinner, and something catches fire and you have a kitchen fire, which does a lot of damage. Or maybe you've trying to have some balance in your life, and you and the family take off for the weekend and a pipe bursts in your home and floods the ground floor. None of these things were expected to happen, but like life has taught me, and it's probably taught you, life has a way of reminding us that unexpected events do occur from time to time. In the military, we called it Murphy. Murphy was always lurking about, trying to waylay our best laid plans, always trying to cause trouble. And insurance is yours and my financial safety net. Most standard homeowners policies include several important types of coverage, and thank goodness that they do. They cover the structure of the home. They cover detached structures, let's say a detached garage, your fence, maybe a shed in the backyard. They cover your personal belongings. And they cover temporary housing should you need to move out of your house because it's not livable while they're repairing it. And personal liability protection is there if someone is injured on your property. And that happened to me and my family last year, we had a close friend, someone we loved, came over, fainted, tripped, and cut their head open in our driveway. Didn't even make it to the front door for dinner. Ambulance came, took them, and thank God we had homeowners insurance and personal liability protection that was able to cover some of those medical requirements. And for many people, you've just heard my story, the biggest surprise for many homeowners is that just how valuable that liability coverage can be, right? Don't need it till you need it, and then hopefully you have it and you're thankful you have it. So homeowners insurance isn't just about replacing the roof, it's about really protecting your financial future. Now here's where things become more complicated, because most people assume homeowners insurance covers everything. Unfortunately, it doesn't. And this may be the most important part of today's episode, so listen closely. One of the biggest misconceptions I hear is, I have homeowners insurance, so I'm covered. Not necessarily. Standard homeowners insurance policies generally do not cover, and if you're here in Florida, listen up, Florida flood damage, earthquakes, lived in some places with those, normal wear and tear, right? Those vicious little termites that we have down here that go after anything that's made of wood, neglected maintenance, and certain types of mold, which is caused by a lot of rain and water that we have here in Florida. So that's why it's especially important here in Florida to understand that. Living in the Greater Tampa Bay area means we enjoy beautiful weather most of the year. But we also face hurricanes and heavy rains, high winds, storm surge, and unfortunately flooding. And many homeowners are surprised to learn that flooding from rising water is almost always not covered in standard homeowners policies. And that's why flood insurance exists here as a completely separate policy in Florida. So we're going to spend our entire next episode talking about that, because it's one of the most misunderstood aspects of owning a home in Florida. Another concept that often surprises buyers is the difference between market value and replacement cost. So let's say you buy a home for $600,000, but it could cost significantly more, maybe less, to rebuild it after a major loss, let's say a house fire or something. And insurance focuses primarily on rebuilding your home, not necessarily what Zillow says it's worth. Understanding that difference can save you from being underinsured. So now now that we understand what insurance does and doesn't cover, let's talk about choosing the right policy. Not every homeowner's policy was created equal. Price matters, but so does value, and that matters even more. When you speak with an insurance professional, don't just ask them for what the cheapest policy is, right? Instead ask, what deductible makes the most sense for my situation? Do I have enough liability coverage? Should I schedule valuable jewelry and collectibles? Are there discounts available? If I put on a new roof, would that reduce my premium? And should I consider a homeowner's an umbrella policy? And if you're buying a home, please start this conversation early. Don't wait until 2 days before. As an aside, we just had our in-house insurance broker come in and talk to us and to the realtors in our office. And she explained just how much work goes into getting the right policy with the right coverage as she's waiting on 4-point inspections and other things. And she asked us, if possible, to start 30 days out, right? Just as you are going into that closing table and closing on a home, which usually takes about 30 days, starting at that same time. It's important. And for her, she can't just get you a policy within a couple of days, or at least not the right policy. She may have that bulletproof one that's very, very expensive that she can cover you for, but that's not cost effective. And just understand that insurance costs can vary dramatically depending on a number of factors. We probably assume the age of the home, yes. The roof, yes. But the construction materials, the location, the flood risk, yeah, here in Florida I would assume the flood risk, but I might not think about the claims history on that home, or maybe the distance from the nearest fire department. So one insurance quote may differ or vary from another by thousands of dollars. And that's why insurance shouldn't be an afterthought for you. It should be part of your buying strategy. Just like financing, just like inspections, just like interviewing and choosing the right realtor, buying a home is a team effort. We talked about that during our financing series. Your lender, your realtor, your inspector, your title company, and your insurance professional all help you make informed decisions. The better your team communicates, the smoother your journey becomes. So before we finish today, let's review what we've learned and talk about our mission for the week. Today's mission wasn't simply about insurance. It was all about protecting everything you've worked so hard to build. So here are three things I'd like you to remember. First, homeowners insurance protects much more than your home. It protects your financial future, right? Second, understanding what's not covered in your policy is as important as what is covered in your policy. And third, the best time to learn about your insurance policy and what it does and doesn't cover is before you ever have to file a claim. Knowledge is power. Preparation creates confidence. So if you're thinking about buying a home this year, here's your assignment. Contact an insurance professional. If you don't know one, reach out to me. I've got a number that I can recommend to you, professionals that I've worked with that I trust. Ask for a simple quote on the type of home you're considering and in the location you're considering buying it. Maybe you have a neighborhood or you want to be near the beach. Compare coverage, not just price. And download this episode's free mission guide. So I put together a homeowner insurance checklist that you can use to ask the right questions, ask better questions, and make informed decisions, right? Use it. It's free. If you're here in the Greater Tampa Bay area and you're buying, or maybe selling, or maybe you just have questions about home ownership, I would be honored to be a resource for you. Whether you're 6 weeks away, or maybe you're 6 months away, my goal is to help you prepare with confidence, not pressure you into some transaction that you don't want or don't need. And if I can answer a question or point you in the right direction early, please don't hesitate to reach out. Because that's really why the Next Mission podcast exists. It's to help you be prepared. To help you be more confident making real estate decisions. And we do that through education, preparation, and trusted guidance from professionals. Next week, we're going to continue our Protecting Your Investment series with a topic every Florida homeowner needs to understand: flood insurance. We'll answer questions like, do I need flood insurance if I'm not living in a flood zone? And why are so many flood claims filed from high risk or from low risk flood areas, or outside of high risk flood areas, right? Maybe those two things are tied. I don't know. What's the difference between FEMA flood maps and actual flood risk? And how can understanding your property's flood exposure save you thousands of dollars and perhaps even protect your family's future? So whether you live on the Gulf, on a lake, near a lake, or miles inland, this is an episode I don't think you're going to want to miss. Thank you for joining me for the Next Mission podcast. And remember, preparation creates confidence, communication builds trust, Education reduces anxiety, and every successful mission begins with a plan. I'm Alex Leonovich. Until next time, I'll see you on the next mission.